Anyway, we talked about you being a speaker.
Yes.
And we wanted to talk about what are some of those right things
Yes.
that you have learned to be consistent in around being a speaker, right?
Yeah.
And we had a call and we talked about some of these things. I'm going to go through these 5 things and then we'll let you dive into those.
Sounds good.
Into these things. Is that good? So 1, you said know thyself, right? And then the second one you said write, rinse, and repeat. I'm really interested in that, what that means. The 3, choose your lane.
Yep.
4, sit down and be humble. I'm interested in that too. I'm interested in all of these, but those 2 so far just really jumped out at me. And then the thing that you said was boldly take every opportunity you can.
Yeah.
Now I'm interested in that because I feel like that's something that I'm always encouraging younger people who are becoming an artist or speaker or whatever and understand. So I wonder if I'm thinking along the same lines.
Yeah.
So let's go back through these, just kind of go a little bit deeper into these.
Sounds good.
Okay. The first one was know thyself.
Yes.
Talk to me about knowing yourself. What does that mean?
So to me, that is going back to your deepest knowing of who you are, not to be too out there. Which I will. Let me preface with saying this: I don't know everything, and I don't pretend to be an expert, but I do. I am very confident in what I do, and I do feel a sense of purpose and this is what I'm supposed to do. And I don't think that's an accident, but I'm also very intentional about making sure I hold to these things. So knowing thyself, I think it has to do with even just that. This is who I am. This is part of who I am and why I do what I do. It's your why. Why am I doing this? What are my values? So for me, if somebody's listening out there and they're like, know thyself, what does that even mean? I know who I am. Okay, but do you know your values? What are your top 3 values in life? If someone were to go, hey, this is what this person values most. It's family, it's truth, it's whatever. For me, I know my core values. I know my core values are truth, they are love, they are wonder, they are courage. 3 of those come very naturally to me. Wonder and love and truth. I am very tied, have very deep roots with those values.
Number 2, write, rinse, and repeat.
Yes.
What is that a song?
No.
Oh, what is that?
Okay, write, WRITE.
Yes.
So write, rinse, and repeat. So for me, when I am coming up with a thought, an idea, a metaphor, whatever it is that I'm wanting to share, I always will write it down. And even if it kind of comes up randomly in a conversation where I'm like, ooh, that just said that. And you know what? I really like that. I want to write that down later. And so I'll write it down, but most of the time it just kind of is a thought I roll around for a while until I'm ready to write it down. And then once I write it down, I share it with somebody else and let them react naturally to the idea or to the story or to the whatever the thought is. And then inevitably, every single time, it changes. And so to me, that's like rinsing it. You're going, let me flesh this thing out. And so you write it, you rinse it, you come back to the drawing board, you repeat it. Yeah. Write it, rinse it, repeat.
Number 3.
Choose your lane.
Your lane.
All right, choose your lane. That's the step that should come before stay in your lane. Because we all have heard that before. Sometimes it can be me stay in your lane. But when somebody steps out of their lane.
So does that mean stay in your lane regarding as a speaker or somebody, right? Somebody's listening to this.
I think in life, I've heard that just throughout my life.
Yeah,
just like they need to stay in their lane.
You coming over here trying to get in my marriage or whatever.
Right.
Stay in your lane, please. Don't be trying to. Yes, gotcha.
So It can be the same way in the speaking, I think, business and the speaking world. Like if you have a topic on something, but you know somebody else talks on something similar, you're like, oh, I don't want to get in their lane. So I think that it could play into that as well. However, what I was referring to this is choosing your lane and choosing your audience. I mean, the world is a big old place. Like it's a small world, but it's a big world.
Yep.
And I think starting out for me, one of the things that Greg has helped me do, and then a coach that has worked with him and our team, is to really decide, okay, these are the sectors of business where we believe that we will not only do well, like our message will resonate with them and who we are will resonate with them, but also that there is room in this space and this sector of work and business and life for us to make connections and relationships and have them grow. And so there really is such a benefit to not being all over the place, right? And I think that goes for business as well, and for any business for that matter, but for the speaking business. So for me, like right now, my lanes are education, they're realtors, they're the HR, and I'm just kind of say, okay, these are my lanes, and I want to do the best I can in these lanes for as long as I can.
Number 4, sit down and be humble.
Mm-hmm. So remember how at the beginning we talked about how I connect with songs, with phrases?
You got a song for this?
This one is a song.
It's a real song?
It is a real one.
By who?
Oh, no, somebody's going to get mad at me because I'm not remembering. Crap.
Who's it?
Sit down, be humble.
Eat your pie.
Kendrick Lamar, I believe.
Oh.
I believe so.
Wow, I'm just going to Google that.
Yeah. So number 4, sit down and be humble often. Mm-hmm. So this really comes back to just giving yourself permission to let your guard down and listen. I think some of the defense mechanisms that we have as humans, and especially as leaders, is we just want to talk a lot, and we want to know it all. Like I want to, but I don't. I have the will and the desire to understand everything, but I really don't. And I think there is such a great benefit that I've received from, and I don't always get it right. Let me just preface with that. Like sometimes I'm like, shut up, Monica, you're talking too much. But to be able to be quiet and to listen to people who are further along than you, or who maybe they're not even in your lane, but they still have wisdom to offer through their life or their experiences. And so being able to receive from anyone, really, if it's a lasting truth, like don't be too big to receive from what you may think are small people. Yeah. And so I think that really sit down and be humble is like, we want to go, hustle, do, look like we got it all together. And it's like, just chill for a second, because there's so many times. I mean, honestly, at least once a day, you should be sitting down and being humble, especially if you've got a significant other in your life. Like you need to be like sitting down and being humble and be like, what's on your mind? Mm-hmm. So in life and work, I do think that's been super beneficial for me, not just being with the Hawks agency team and with Greg and Sarah, who does our business, and John, but meeting other people in the industry and in other industries who have done this like you, I can learn so much. Yeah,
that's good. So sit down, be humble. I just want to go ahead and say this on the record. If you go and look for that song, I had nothing to do with this. It's all her. Those lyrics. Lord. Those lyrics are a little wild.
Are they?
Yes.
I'm so sorry.
Oh my goodness, Monica! So Lord help!
Okay.
Is this what you're listening to?
All I know is the chorus. Don't ask me verses to no songs. Okay, I will not know.
No, it is Kendrick Lamar though.
Oh,
name of the song is humble.
Eddie, I'm sorry.
No, you're so funny. No, so yeah, but let's get back to this sit down, be humble, ladies and gentlemen, because I really like this. Okay. Because I think it's so true.
Okay.
And one of the things, like from my kids,
yeah,
right? From my kids who definitely don't work and all these different things. Like I have way more life experience than them, but oftentimes I like to sit down with my 17-year-old son, who I think is a very intelligent young kid and all this stuff, and just sit down and be humble with him and let him speak into it, because he often comes with me to listen to me speak or whatever the case may be. And I've over the years, gotten some of the best advice from him, just from him listening in on my talks and just learning from him. And I will go make some tweaks.
I love that.
I'll get ready to go somewhere and he'll say, who you talking to? And I'll say, I'm got to go to high school today. And he's like, all right, I think these stories would be best. Which talk are you doing? Right? And this guy, he ain't even... who is he? But I've learned to sit down, or my wife, who's definitely not in the industry or anything like that. But man, we just sitting down and being humble and listen to her. And then in my work for the church, one of the things is whenever somebody does a message, we do it during the week and sit down, and then people pick all kinds of holes. And you be like, I'm not even worth anything after listening to that. Right? It's like, first of all, I spent 40 hours on this talk. You did not. But you think you're going to tell me? But it makes us better. Right? It's this whole idea, sit down, be humble. And sometimes you don't have to take it, right? Sometimes it's like, but thank you.
Yeah, it's a grain of salt sometimes in the sea. You're like, thank you for that. I appreciate your feedback.
Now, number 5, boldly take every opportunity you can. Talk to me.
Yeah. So when I wrote that down, I put boldly in parentheses, and I'm doing my finger quotes right now. Because I think we have to be bold, especially if you're new to the game, any game. It takes a lot of boldness.
Like normal boldness or Greg Hogg boldness?
Depends what kind of personality you got. For me...
Tabletop boldness, Greg Hogg?
Some people, it comes so naturally. They're like, I ain't nervous. I'm like, don't lie to me, okay? Number 1, don't lie. Number 2, don't make it sound easier than it is, because then I'm not going to want to try.
When somebody said they're not nervous before they speak?
Yeah.
Maybe. Oh.
This is what he gets.
We just got a lot of neck stuff going on right now.
Goodness.
They don't get nervous before they speak. Okay. Maybe.
No, but I've just known a lot of people like that as well, who are just like, no, I don't get nervous. And I'm like, all right. And at first, I think when I was first, speaking and not in this way I am now, but when I would first speak, I'd be like, maybe I don't need to do this. Maybe I'm not meant to do this. Maybe I shouldn't do it. But it really, I had to ask myself those questions. I think those were important for me to ask. And I mean, it could be that some people's answer to that question when they ask it is, no, I shouldn't be doing this. But for me, the answer was, no, I should be doing this. I might not have like a typical type A, super bold personality. Like, I want everyone to be happy, but I have very strong values, very strong convictions, and I have a lot to say if someone will give me a minute. And so I find that for me, speaking is so fulfilling, not only because like I get to share what I believe are truths that can truly, truly help people, but I love seeing, like I said at the beginning, people light up when they go, I get it, or I see it in a different way now. So anyway, back to boldly. It does take boldness on my part, and I think on most people's parts, especially if you're new to the game. Even if you're really good at something and you then begin in the industry like I have. So I felt like I was a pretty good communicator. But I'm still new in this sector. So for me, every time I go into a new sector, like once I've like spoken HR, spoken at government, spoken at a school, once I do that once, I honestly, it comes down like 70%. The nerves and like my need to just buckle down and be bold. But when I'm first in there, man, it really does take a lot of boldness because there's so many unknowns.
Yeah.
Like, is this balloon going to float or flop? I do not know. So yes, boldly take every opportunity that you can. So we talked about having our lanes and choosing our lanes, but like you mentioned, but if an opportunity comes up, then yes, take that opportunity. you may find a lane that you didn't even know you belonged in.
Yeah.
And you might soar the highest in that lane. So take the opportunity. And it might not always be like a golden opportunity or glamorous or whatever. It may be something that's small, but if you can, you should.
Yeah.
I heard a friend say that today to me at the gym. He said, I just have this mentality that if I can, I will. If somebody asks for help, I don't say no. If I can help, I will. If they ask me to do this job and take on this project, if I can, I will.
Yeah.
And you don't know what can come from those
For
things.
sure.
So it's boldly sometimes taking those opportunities, and sometimes it's just saying yes because you can.
Yeah. No, so good.